Hi everybody, this is the anti-bullying video for how to employ the 5 rules in a school setting for a physically violent confrontation. Okay, this is the very classic image of a bullying situation. Let's start with the most important rule. Every family has their own set of rules about violence, non-violence, what is acceptable, what is not. This lesson takes as its base the following key concept. No one has the right to touch you without permission. No one. And if someone does touch you without permission, you have the right to physically defend yourself. In a school setting, you should be following the 5 rules and getting away from any bullying situation before violence occurs. In a perfect world, that'd be great. We've already practiced that. You just hands up, be loud, go away, get to safety, tell someone. Problem solved, it's over. But for a physically violent confrontation, the bully who grabs you to keep you from leaving, the bully who pushes you to knock you down, or the bully who begins to strike you or tries to strike you, you have the right to defend yourself. Not only do you have the right to defend yourself physically, you have the right to not get hit in the first place. You do not have to wait for the bully to hit you. You only have to wait until it is impossible to get away from the bully who's trying to hurt you. So if a bully grabs you, we teach, make the bully let go. And that involves counter violence. And that is, unfortunately, a fact of the situation. Once a bully goes to grab you, you have 2 choices. Be harmed or fight back. Those are your only 2 choices. And we teach, don't be harmed, which leaves us 1 choice. Fight back. And once you've made that choice, it becomes simpler to understand why we had to employ physical self-defense techniques. Because the option was to get hurt instead. And no one has the right to touch you without permission. So this video is about physical violence. And we're going to have to talk about the consequences of that. And we have an entire video about the consequences of physical violence. Okay, but for now, let's go over the 5 basic rules. Rule 1, hands up. Rule 2, be loud. Rule 3, go away. All happens at the same time.
Stop, leave me alone.
And he starts going away. They all happen together. So what we're talking about is, as you're trying to get to safety and tell someone, rules 4 and 5, the bully prevents you physically. Physically prevents you. If a bully follows you, they're not preventing you. Keep moving. But if a bully grabs you, they're preventing you from getting to safety. And the fight has begun. You are now in physical danger. You have now been assaulted by a bully. No one has the right to touch you without permission. I have initiated violence against him. And he has the right to defend himself at this point. And so that's what we're going to learn here. So, Cy Miles, face me. Move down a little bit. Face me and start rules 1, 2, 3 and do the windshield wiper as you move off at your angle. All right, move off at an angle to your right. Okay? You're a bad guy. Now I'm going to grab you. What are you doing? Hey, quit that. Look. I grabbed him. He did his windshield wipers, but it didn't work. I grabbed his wrists. Come back here. I have initiated violence against him. He now has the right to defend himself. If this happens in school, you are going to get in trouble. So is the bully. Most schools say they have a 0 tolerance policy for fighting and bullying. That is, of course, a joke. If they had 0 tolerance, there'd be no bullies. They don't have 0 tolerance for bullies. They have 0 tolerance for you defending yourself from a bully, which is a very bad thing. And we need to fix that But we can't fix that. We're not in charge of the schools. All we can do is protect ourselves and accept the consequences of what happens next in our family and at our school. So he's got his hands up, and I grabbed his wrist. I'm grabbing his wrist. Now we need to take the lessons we've learned. Our punching, our hammer fists, our open hand strikes, our kicking, and some of the other techniques we've been learning, and we need to apply them to this situation. So if I've grabbed both wrists, this is actually very easy for him to get out of. I don't even need to teach this as a drill. Look what he just did. Just drop your elbows in, push down, and grab my wrists. Okay? Now it's not going to work. You're not going to grab my wrists in real life. What's going to happen is you're going to push down and I'm going to let go. Okay? Now if I let go, you should go back to rules 3, 4, and 5. The goal isn't to fight me. The goal is to defend yourself. But if he does that and he breaks away and I grab him again, he needs to defend himself now. This is a totally legitimate long punch situation. He has the right to defend himself. I have grabbed him and I was about to hit him. So I've grabbed him. He hits me. I haven't hit him yet. I'm going to scream to the principal, I was just having an argument with him and he punched me in the face, because I'm a liar. I'm a bully. If I've been trying to bully him, if I've been trying to bully you, and you followed the 5 rules, and you've gone and told the instructor several times, the teacher several times, Dan's bullying me, when the fight happens, and I go, he punched me in the nose, they're going to say, really? Because he's been telling us you've been bullying him for 3 weeks, and we've been telling you to stop bullying him for 3 weeks. And they're not going to believe me, they're going to believe you. That's why we always follow rule number 5. Because it's not tattletaling, it's not crybaby, it's telling what happened. You are sharing the fact that someone was bullying you. So you don't have to run up to the teacher and go, teacher, Dan said he's going to punch me in the nose, and I hate him, and he said, you just go up and tell him the truth. I just got away from Dan. He was bullying me. He said he was going to punch me in the face. Just tell him the truth. That's what Rule 5 is. It's not crybabying, it's not tattletaling. And I have a very, 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 very important lesson to teach you right now. If you are a student who's in elementary school, middle school, or high school, and you're watching this video, and you go to an instructor, a teacher, you go to a teacher and say, Dan was bullying me, he grabbed me, or tried to grab me, or he said he was going to punch me in the nose at recess, or he said he was going to beat me up when we get off the bus today, and that teacher says, don't be a tattletale, or that teacher says, ignore him, then you have the right and the responsibility to go to someone else and tell them. And so the person I recommend you go to is the principal. If a teacher says ignore them, or don't be a tattletale, or don't be a crybaby, say, yes sir, or yes ma'am, I'll just go tell the principal. And then you go and tell the principal. And if the teacher says, don't you leave this classroom, come back here and sit down, what's more important to you? What's more important to your mom and your dad? Following a teacher's rule that puts you in danger, or protecting yourself by breaking the teacher's rule and going to the principal? Because if you break the rules, you'll get in trouble. But guess what your trouble most likely will be? If you break the teacher's rule, what can they do? They can give you, they can take away your recess. They can send you to the principal, but that's where you're going. Or they can threaten you with something bigger. But they can't suspend you. The principal has to suspend you. They can't in-school suspend you without talk from other principals. So go to the principal and tell the principal, Dan was bullying me. Dan threatened to punch me in the face and said he was going to beat me up after school. So I told my teacher, and my teacher said, stop being a crybaby and ignore him. It's your health we're talking about. You have the right to protect yourself, even if a grown-up says no. That grown-up teacher isn't doing their job. I used to be a school teacher. And if a school teacher tells you to ignore a bully and doesn't do anything about it, the teacher is not doing their job. And you need to have the self-respect to go to the principal. Say, okay, I'll go to the principal, and just go to the principal. Don't argue with the teacher, don't yell at a teacher, don't disrespect a teacher. Just protect yourself and have the self-respect to say, okay, I'm going to the principal. And if that teacher says, don't you leave my room, you don't have to listen to that because it's not safe. You need to leave the room. You need to be safe. So you go to the principal and turn yourself in. I left my teacher's room without permission because I was just bullied, and I told the teacher that Dan was going to punch me in the nose. He had to tell him everything. Dan was going to punch me in the nose, Dan was going to beat me up after school, and the teacher said, don't be a tattletale and sit down and ignore him. I can't ignore someone who's going to beat me up. I need help. I need to tell someone. I need to follow the 5 rules of bullying. And now I'm somewhere safe in the principal's office, and I'm telling you, Miss Principal or Mr. Principal, that I was being bullied and I need help. You have the right to do that. Now let's get back to the reality of what we're talking about here. I'm not teaching you techniques here. You've learned the techniques. What we're doing now is recognizing when we should use self-defense violence. This is a no. I'm going to get you. No. No. You're not following the 5 rules. Follow the 5 rules. Follow the 5 rules. I'm going to get you.
No, leave me alone. Stay there.
You win. You just won. You got away. You're safe. Okay? Follow the 5 rules. I'm going to get you.
All right. Yeah, hey, man, leave it.
Oh.
Stop. Leave me alone.
I tried to grab him, but he got away, so he kept moving. Not the time to hit somebody. Follow the 5 rules and protect yourself.
Stop. Hey.
Ooh. That is okay. That is defending yourself from a bully. Now let's remember that if you're going to get into a physical altercation, all fights are fast, scary, and painful. You're going to cry, you're going to be really scared, and all of that's okay. You're going to feel really nervous, it's going to be hard to breathe, it's scary, but it's better than getting hurt. Okay? And if he hits me, his hand might hurt because he hit me. But that's way better than standing there not doing anything while I punch him 5 times or throw him to the ground and sit on him. Right? He could go to the hospital. You could go to the hospital if you don't defend yourself. You have the right to defend yourself because no one has the right to touch you. If you put your hands up in the windshield wiper and I grab you, it's easy to break free. You just push down and try to grab my wrist. Okay? You practice that with anybody, with your friends. It's a fun game. Keep your elbows in and push down. Now this time I'm not going to let him do it. I'm not going to let him do it. I'm going to use all my muscles. I can't stop him. It's too hard. I just can't do it. So if somebody grabs you, you keep your elbows in, you push down, and you'll break the grip. But if I come in and I grab you, you might have to use your knee, like we taught you. Oh! And now what should he do? He should go away. Right? The goal is always to get away. Now, here's another thing that's wrong. If I grab him and he punches me, and I let go and he keeps punching me, he's doing it wrong. Okay? He's doing it wrong. The goal is to get away and let the bully know you don't get to grab me. So if I grab him and he hits me one time, I go, ow! He should be gone. You should be gone. You should follow the 5 rules. Physical violence is always the very last thing you should do. You should never get into a fight unless there's no other way out. But if there's no other way out, and the bad guy grabs you, and you can't get away, it is now the only choice you have. You don't have any other choice except to get hurt. So now you've reached a point where everything's going to be fast, scary, and painful, but you've got to do it anyway. You've got to defend yourself at this point. And if you've got to do that, you might as well be as serious about it as you can and do it 100%. 100%. Now get away. Don't do this. Don't do this. That's not 100%. That's me. Stop. That didn't hurt him. I didn't commit to making him let go. Right? Make me let go. Boom! And then I'll let go. So you got to commit all the way to that scary thing. And then once you do that, get away. And accept the consequences of what's about to happen. We have a whole video about consequences, and I want you guys to watch it.